Her hands are moving faster than your eyes can follow. 12 notes per second, live, no safety net. At first, it looks like chaos. But speed alone isn't what makes Hiromi Uehara dangerous. Beneath that blur is something most people completely miss. Something that separates a great performer from a once-in-a-generation musical mind. And the difference goes far deeper than you think. Sits at the piano, head bowed, fingers hovering in mid-air. The crowd at Montreux leans forward, breath held, as if sensing what is about to happen. Then her hands explode into motion. The keys blur under a barrage of notes, 12 per second, maybe more. There is no warm-up, no warning, just a sudden avalanche of sound that ricochets off the stage. Audience members gasp. Some stare in disbelief, mouths open. Others break into laughter, the kind that comes when you witness something that should not be possible. It is not just speed, it is the way her entire body channels the energy. Shoulders rolling, hair flying, feet pounding the pedals. The piano itself seems to vibrate, as if struggling to keep up. Every run, every chord lands with the force of a drum fill, but the notes stay crisp, never muddled. At the front row, people are shaking their heads, half in awe, half in confusion. How does anyone move like that and still make music? The camera catches a close-up. Her hands are a blur, but her face is pure focus. Eyes locked on the keys, lips moving as if singing along with every phrase. The crowd's energy spikes with every new burst. Someone shouts, another whistles. This is not background jazz. This is a high-speed chase, and everyone in the room is strapped in for the ride. At first, it looks like chaos. But there is something deeper happening. Most people miss it. The spectacle grabs you by the throat, but underneath a different story is unfolding, one that only reveals itself if you know where to look. 12 notes per second, that is the number floating around after a Hiromi solo, and it is not an exaggeration. But speed alone does not explain what is happening under her hands. Listen closer, and you will hear something even more mind-bending. Two completely different rhythms locked together, neither one slipping. In the Montreux footage, her left hand hammers out a relentless 4-beat pulse, while her right hand carves triplet runs, with 3 notes for every 4 in the bass. That is a 3-4 polyrhythm, the kind most pianists only attempt in slow motion. Hiromi does it at full velocity, improvising, never breaking a sweat. A conservatory pedagogue once said that forearm rotation is the secret to lasting speed. Watch Hiromi's wrists. They do not clench, they pivot. The power comes not from the fingers, but from the whole arm. Each run is a whip crack, not a finger sprint. Her technique is built for both endurance and clarity. When she wants a note to ring, she will damp it with a fingertip, not the pedal. That is how she keeps the blur clean, every note distinct, even when the density hits 12 notes per second in live analysis. But then everything changes. She is not just playing notes, she is creating them live. The polyrhythm is not a party trick, it is the engine of her improvisation. One hand can keep a groove so steady it could replace a metronome. The other hand is free to explode, to invent, to chase new ideas on the fly. Most people miss this. They see the spectacle, but miss the control, the real-time decisions, the split-second shifts. This is the measurable craft. It is the ability to build complexity, to hold 2 tempos in your head, and to make it all sound effortless. Discipline, speed, or just a race for attention. But when you hold Hiromi Uehara's playing up against the world's best, the difference is immediate. Take a split-second montage. A classical titan like Mitsuko Uchida, fingers slicing through Tchaikovsky with machine-like precision. A viral YouTube pianist hammering away at 300 beats per minute, dazzling and relentless but locked to a click track. Then Chick Corea at Montreux, weaving through the song Spain with the loose magic of jazz royalty. Each is brilliant in their own lane. But Hiromi doesn't just borrow from these worlds, she fuses them, then pushes further. In one moment, she delivers the crystalline articulation of a competition winner, every note ringing clean, every phrase shaped with intention. The next, she launches into improvisation, so spontaneous it feels like the music is inventing itself. And then, without warning, she throws the entire engine into overdrive. Odd time grooves, hand-over-hand runs, polyrhythms that would tie most pianists in knots. The classical clip shows technical mastery, but it is bound to the page. The viral internet star brings flash, but the runs loop back on themselves, never straying from the script. Even jazz legends, for all their freedom, often stick to the familiar logic of the standard. But this is where it gets insane. Hiromi's left hand can drive a 7/8 bass line, while her right hand improvises in 4/4, both lines weaving through a shifting harmonic maze. She is not just playing notes, she is creating them live. Every phrase is a risk, a leap into the unknown, and yet nothing ever feels random. Musicians call this the difference between performance and musicianship. The real proof comes from her peers. Bassists who say she forces them to rethink rhythm, drummers who call her the most unpredictable bandleader they have met, jazz greats like Corea and Stanley Clarke who choose her as a collaborator, not just a guest. When the smoke clears, what is left is not just speed or spectacle. It is the rare sense that you are hearing something that could not have existed before that moment, and may never happen again. Inside the world of elite pianists, there is a secret most people never see, the science behind the spectacle. Hiromi's hands are not just fast, they are the product of years spent rewiring muscle memory and brain pathways, one micro-movement at a time. Dr. Anna Rossi, a physical therapist who works with concert musicians, describes it as motor independence dialed to the extreme. Each hand, each finger, learns to operate on its own schedule. In Hiromi's practice routine, the metronome creeps up by just 2 beats per minute after every perfect run. It is not about brute force, it is about teaching the nervous system to split its attention, to make left and right hands act like separate musicians. This is not just a story of talent, it is a story of measurable control. High-speed camera analysis of her Montreux solos reveals a timing variance of less than 10 milliseconds between hands, matching the precision of a digital drum machine. Researchers have used hidden Markov models and fast Fourier transform analysis to track her note placement, confirming that even at full velocity, her rhythmic grid stays locked. That is why her left hand can hold down a relentless 7/8 groove, while the right hand improvises in 4/4 time, never drifting, never colliding. But the demands are more than mental. Physical strain is the silent enemy of every virtuoso. Hiromi's technique is built to outlast it. She rotates her forearm to distribute force, uses finger-first damping to keep the sound clean, and maintains a posture that lets the shoulders float instead of lock. Dr. Rossi points out that this is not just athletic, it is protective. The strategy is simple: reduce tension, increase longevity. In Hiromi's world, mastery is not just about speed or showmanship, it is about building a body and mind that can handle the impossible night after night and make it look like play. The Jazz Japan Best Pianist trophy sits on her shelf, earned in 2013. 4 years later, the Miyako Music Prize landed in her hands, and recognition came from the heart of her home country. But it is not just critics. Stanley Clarke chose her for his band, not as a sideman, but as an equal. John McLaughlin called her up for a world tour in 2019. Headliner slots at Montreux, North Sea Jazz, and Jazz at Lincoln Center filled her calendar. Scholars cite her in the Journal of Jazz Studies as a case of cross-genre virtuosity. On stage, venues hit 92% capacity on her 2022 world tour. Online, live clips pulled in over 5 million views in a single month. These are not just numbers, they are the hard proof of impact, respect, and reach, the kind that cannot be faked. 4 pillars: speed that warps the air, hand independence that splits the brain, improvisation that writes new music in real time, and a sense of rhythm and dynamics that can turn a whisper into an earthquake. But where do you place Hiromi in the pantheon? Is she a technical marvel, a once-in-a-generation musical thinker, or something else entirely? Some call her the future of jazz piano, others say she's already in a league of her own. So here is the real question: does her musicianship redefine what greatness means, Or does it just raise the bar for everyone else? You decide. Drop your ranking below and say why. The debate starts now. Right now, as AI blurs the line between imitation and imagination, Hiromi's music proves what machines can't fake: real-time invention, risk, and soul. Every note is a decision, not just a display. That's why her impact isn't measured in speed, but in the shock of genuine originality. What do you hear?